This is the story that shook the United States and left millions divided. A mother accused of murdering her own child. A family torn apart by lies, secrets, and unthinkable tragedy. And in the end, a verdict that stunned the world. This is the case of Caylee Anthony and the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee. It began on July 15th, 2008, in Orlando, Florida, when Caylee Anthony called 911 in a panic. Her granddaughter Caylee hadn't been seen in 31 days, and her own daughter Casey had been feeding her excuse after excuse. But something felt deeply wrong. During the call, Cindy said something that would echo across headlines. "There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car." When police arrived, Casey calmly explained that her daughter had been taken by a woman named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, a nanny who she claimed had watched Caylee regularly. According to her, Zenaida, Zanny the nanny, had kidnapped the child a month earlier, and she had been trying to find her on her own. But detectives quickly found holes in her story. There was no record of Zenaida ever existing. The apartment where Casey claimed she had dropped Caylee off was vacant, and when pressed about her job at Universal Studios, Casey took investigators to the building, walked them through the lobby, and finally admitted she hadn't worked there in years. The lies were stacking up, and all the while, Caylee was still missing. As police dug deeper, they discovered that in the weeks Caylee was unaccounted for, Casey hadn't seemed worried at all. In fact, she was out partying, drinking at clubs, smiling for photos, and even entering a hot body contest at a local bar. Her behavior raised immediate red flags. How could a mother be out celebrating while her daughter was gone? Then came the digital trail. Investigators searched Casey's computer and found searches for phrases like how to make chloroform, neck breaking, and household weapons. This wasn't just suspicious, it was chilling. Still, there was no body. That changed on December 11th, 2008. A utility worker walking through a wooded area less than a mile from the Anthony family home noticed something strange. He called police, and what they found confirmed everyone's worst fears. It was Caylee Anthony's remains, her tiny skull discovered inside a trash bag, duct tape over her mouth, alongside a child's blanket and laundry bag. The area had been submerged in water during the rainy season, making it harder to determine how long the remains had been there. The medical examiner ruled the manner of death a homicide, but the cause of death remained undetermined. There was no visible trauma, and the decomposition was too advanced for conclusive answers. Still, the evidence was strong enough. Caylee Anthony was charged with first-degree murder, facing the death penalty. In May 2011, the trial began, and it immediately became a media circus. News trucks lined the courthouse, crowds gathered daily, and the nation watched every moment live. The prosecution's theory was that Casey had grown tired of motherhood. At 22 years old, she wanted her freedom. They claimed she used chloroform to sedate Caylee, then placed duct tape over her mouth and nose to suffocate her. They painted her as cold, calculating, someone who partied while her daughter decomposed. But the defense took a shocking approach. They argued that Caylee died accidentally, drowning in the family pool. They claimed Casey panicked and that her father, George Anthony, helped cover it up to protect the family. More disturbingly, they accused George of sexually abusing Casey when she was younger, a claim George strongly denied on the stand. There were no fingerprints on the duct tape, no DNA linking Casey to the trash bags or blankets, no eyewitnesses, no time of death. The prosecution had plenty of circumstantial evidence, but no smoking gun. After 6 weeks of testimony, both sides rested. The jury deliberated for just 11 hours. On July 5, 2011, the verdict was read. Not guilty of first-degree murder. Not guilty of aggravated child abuse. Not guilty of manslaughter. Caylee Anthony was found guilty only of 4 misdemeanor counts of lying to police. The courtroom was stunned. Across the country, people reacted with disbelief, rage, and heartbreak. Protesters outside the courthouse screamed in anger. Some jurors later said they believed Caylee may have been involved, but the evidence wasn't strong enough to convict her beyond a reasonable doubt. She was sentenced to time served and released from jail just 12 days later. In the years since the trial, Caylee Anthony has kept a relatively low profile. She's given only a few interviews. In one, she said, "I don't care what anyone thinks about me. I sleep pretty good at night." In 2022, she appeared in a documentary titled Caylee Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, where she again denied any involvement in her daughter's death and blamed her father for the cover-up. Public opinion, however, has never changed. For many, she remains one of the most hated figures in modern American history, a symbol of injustice, deception, and parental failure. And through all the media noise, one heartbreaking fact remains. Caylee Anthony, an innocent little girl, lost her life far too soon. No one has ever been held legally responsible for her death. A child died, a mother lied, and a nation was left to ask, what really happened to Caylee? That answer, it seems, may never come.